What would the fallout be from Clash of Champions? Find out as we review Monday Night Raw for the week of September 16th, 2019 here on WrestleDOWN. Hey guys, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to war.
Hey, this is Purple Haze, and you're watching WGS-TV.
What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Welcome back to WrestleDOWN right here on WGS-TV. Joining me on the Raw review tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you see him right here on the left part of your screen. It's the Studly Man, Ashley. Ashley, how you doing?
Yeah.
Considering everything we saw tonight, that's probably the best response we can give. Because going into tonight's show, there were some things I was looking forward to. The start of the feud with Rollins and the Fiend, and how would they play off the attack that happened at the end of the Clash last night. Also, the finals of the King of the Ring tournament took place, and you'll be surprised to hear what we have to say and possibly what Corey Graves had to say on the show tonight as well. So with that firmly in mind, let's talk about Raw. Opened up with the Universal Champion Seth Rollins talking about his tag team title loss and Universal Championship win from last night at Clash of Champions, and started talking about his run-in with the Fiend Bray Wyatt and that he was ready to face him one-on-one inside Hell in a Cell. The Firefly Funhouse promo started up, and we saw Bray Wyatt, who said he was happy to see his future best friend Seth Rollins, and started talking about how we all make mistakes and how Rollins has made mistakes and people have forgiven him for those mistakes, but he never forgets. And after a scary stare down of sorts, Wyatt starts laughing and says, "We'll see you in hell." I think this was like the perfect promo we were looking for, Ashley, when it comes to this new angle with Rollins and Wyatt.
Yeah. There's no need to build it. It's the heel that everybody's going to cheer for, and the face that everybody's already sick of. Because,
yeah. Now, following that, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Kevin was a tad drunk, but the promo that followed that, like you would see with the up next and whatnot, everything appeared upside down. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if, maybe Kevin Dunn was upside down and thought, hey, everybody's upside down, I need to flip it. Or, like I said, if he had a few drinks, I don't know. But that's probably going to be the techno botch of the year right now for WWE. If anything at all is a clear indication of, this should be botch of the year, especially on Matthew Botchamania. Hello. This has got to be it right here.
My fear is the explanation is that it's intended because it was the Fiend doing wacky stuff with the pit. If so, why would he do it for matches which aren't even relating to him?
That's a good question. The next thing we would see was Braun Strowman marching his way to the ring, saying someone tonight was going to get his hands. In what way, I have no idea. But following that was something called a Tag Team Championship Summit of sorts, involving the new Raw Tag Team Champions, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, and the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Revival. Essentially, it was a brag fest. They were bragging about their championship wins at the Clash last night, until Braun Strowman made his presence known, proceeded to demolish everyone except Robert Roode, who at the time decided that discretion was the better part of valor, considering that he had a singles match later on in the evening with Seth Rollins. Ash, what was the point of this whole segment other than just to see Strowman destroy three men?
That was a rhetorical question, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Good.
Up next, it was a 6-man tag team match with the OC taking on the Viking Raiders and Cedric Alexander. I thought this match in of itself was okay. The Raiders looked good. I'm not talking about the Oakland one. Or then again, you could make the argument that the Oakland Raiders are looking good this year. Cedric and AJ, they seem to be more of the focus in this match, because the finish of the match was AJ hitting the Phenomenal Forearm on Cedric to pick up the win. And once again, we had post-match activities with Styles continuing to beat Cedric down until the Viking Raiders came into the ring, but then they got caught up with Gallows and Anderson, and I don't know what happened with Ivar's Swanton spot, Ashley, but we both knew that somebody was supposed to catch him, but they didn't because he bounced on the ground, and you're not supposed to see something like that.
Yeah. I keep saying I don't know.
And Cedric tried taking it to Styles, but would end up eating a Styles clash off the middle rope to end the segment. So just when you think we would see WWE actually pushing Cedric Alexander for once, it seems like they're just killing that push now, wouldn't you think?
I don't know. I mean, it's clearly just they needed something. Fill the gap. You know, the Viking Warriors are dead. We've got other tag teams that are already getting more pushes the Viking Raiders ever had. Then again, that's the same problem that the other team had, which we'll get to. Too many.
Yeah, this is pretty much the night we had on Monday Night Raw tonight, guys and gals. Apparently, R-Truth and Carmella were supposed to meet a special guest for a tour guide at the University of Tennessee. Considering the fact they're in Knoxville, it ended up being the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, Glen Jacobs. And if you know your wrestling history, like we do, you guys know who Glen Jacobs actually is. Now, up next...
Come on.
Yeah.
They did it on the Why are we saying, why not? Who is it? Who is it? Is it fucking Ultimate Warrior? These people that are watching are not idiots.
Yeah.
I mean, how? He took bloody money from Saudi,
Yeah.
which went to Knox County.
Oh, God. Well,
You know,
next, it was the finals of the King of the Ring tournament with Baron Corbin taking on Chad Gable. Gable went into this match as the underdog, to say the least, with Corbin being the overbearing, obnoxious heel that everyone loves to hate. So with this being the finals of the 2019 King of the Ring tournament, would they deliver on a quality match here? And needless to say, oh hell fucking yeah, they did. I have to say the back body drop spot into the timekeeper's area was well done. Corbin hitting the deep six but couldn't put away Gable. I loved Gable's rolling German suplex. It was absolutely stupendous but couldn't get the win. Gable would then pick the ankle and target it with repeated attacks and even locked on the ankle lock, trying to get Corbin to tap out, but he would eventually make it into the ropes. And the finish of the match was Corbin connecting with the End of Days to Gable to pick up the win and become the 2019 King of the Ring. And honestly, Ashley, right now, I have no complaints. I mean, if Corbin can deliver on this quality with his matches, right now, I have honestly no issues with them putting the King of the Ring title on him.
if he can stay this consistent of his performance, I take everything back. He's got down, to business, and is getting good matches. My only fear is this is just sort of like the .com bubble, and eventually it's going to burst, and he's just going to go to plodding, methodic rubbish. Despite the fact that and that will overshadow what was probably one of the best King of the Ring in terms of actual sort of match.
Yes.
Apart from the whole semi-final, Elias having to get subbed out and everything, there was actually all 15 matches that you got bar that one game were really fun and entertaining and delivered. which is more than can be said for even some of the classic ones. People think back to
Up next,
Coronation is.
Yeah, Coronation is tomorrow night, and I'm wondering what exactly are they going to do with that coronation. And one of the things you kept asking was, you know, with Corbin now being the king of the ring, where do they go with him next? Does he go after Kofi? Does he go after like Shinsuke? Because you can't have him go after Rollins because he's knee deep in a feud right now with the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
And he's a heel, I would have thought, so he can't go up against Nakamura. Can't go up against AJ. The only one that's left is Kofi.
Oh, up next,
I don't know.
It was the Maria Kanellis gender reveal party, but come on. I mean, why the fuck is this an angle on TV to begin with? This whole turning Mike Kanellis into a cuck loser angle is straight up boring and a waste of fucking time. Why in the world should we give a shit about this angle to begin with? Why Vince greenlit this angle is beyond me. Maria revealed that the gender of the baby is a boy, and that Ricochet was the father, which incensed Mike Kanellis, who slapped Ricochet and challenged him to a match. As far as the match goes, nobody actually cared. No reaction from the crowd. Ricochet hit the recoil to pick up the win. They come back from commercial break to Maria verbally berating Mike once again, revealed that Ricochet wasn't the father, and then implied that the father was the returning Rusev. Well, she didn't say his name per se, but she made the implication, because she said the father is, and then Rusev's music hit. Then we would hear these immortal words from Corey Graves on commentary.
It doesn't seem to me like Maria's the problem here. The fact that Mike Kanellis is a clear beta cuck is the problem.
Really? Really? Upside down Corey. Seriously. You actually said the words beta cuck on national TV. Now, if he didn't get an ear chewing for that, I don't know what else to say other than I guess McMahon is trying once again, Ashley, I would say, to go for edgier TV.
Who knows?
Well,
using that sort of,
go ahead.
Using that sort of language is sort of what Twitter trolls do. And I thought Corey was better than that.
Well, apparently he's not. But let's just say this. As far as Rusev goes, he looked to be in really good shape. But seriously, if the porn mask mustache didn't work for Robert Roode, then it's not going to work for Rusev. Seriously?
No, it works on him.
In what way?
It works on him because, well, clearly he's got himself toned. You know, he's got some good muscle. Instead of the sort of Rick Rude, it's actually trying to sort of be the sort of, like the handsome sort of like, I don't know, Greek sort of god, which considering his sort of Bulgarian sort of Eastern European background,
well, yeah,
it actually worked.
Well,
yeah.
Back at the University of Tennessee,
I would if I could. If it wasn't because of Lana, I probably.
Well, back at the University of Tennessee, among the stupid banter from R-Truth, this is what happened. Glenn Jacobs revealed that he swore in someone named Mr. Burns to be not a policeman, but a referee. Truth then ran into the football pole, and Jacobs...
Did they actually... I've just realised, did they do that because they know Matthew watches and because Simpsons?
I would say so.
I don't know.
But Glenn Jacobs becomes the first ever mayor to win the 24/7 championship. Brace yourself, guys. Just brace yourself.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was still. But at the same time, all this is done to go, welcome to Tennessee. So it just seems a little bit cheap and tacky. Even though with the whole, Mr. President, administrator man, I love, it's like, R-Truth is brilliant. That's why the whole segment worked throughout the whole show. Anybody else probably wouldn't. But it was one of the bright points. After, what happened with the whole Maria thing. We didn't even... Did you even mention the bit with the whole Maria? With the Street Profits and bloody Angelo going... For a minute there, I thought I was going to be the father.
I was trying to forget that. Because then the next line they would say is, would they have a baby on a TV? Pole? First off, they said something about a baby on a pole match. And they said Maria on a pole. And then, wasn't it Angelo who said that's how Maria got herself into that mess? Or was it Montez?
No, it was Montez that said that's how this mess all started. And I'm like, no, that's what you can't say. And then, of course, Corey with his beta mention was just like, well, it keeps getting worse. You never know, but at the end of the night, somebody might swear and it doesn't get bleeped. USA's complaining, and then they go, one, it gives us ratings, and then it's like, well, nobody's watching because Monday Night Football.
Well, if we can let this slip.
It doesn't seem to me like Maria's the problem here. The fact that Mike Kanellis is a clear beta cut is the problem.
Then I guess they can pretty much get away with saying anything. But, anyway, guys, up next, it was Rey Mysterio taking on the Swiss Cyborg Cesaro. First off, what happened to Cesaro's gear? All he had on was black yoga pants and tennis shoes. So what happened? Did Cesaro lose his bag at the airports? Did somebody rob him? What happened? Because Cesaro did not look like Cesaro tonight. He looked like some bald guy with black pants and red tennis shoes.
Also, he said, you should have listened to your son. Why'd you come back? And he's like, his son said, don't retire. You're not ready. You need to train me, sort of thing. So it's like, so his son said, don't retire, don't leave. Cesaro says, you should have listened by not leaving, which he didn't because he's wrestling him tonight. So...
yeah. And needless to say, the match itself could have been better considering how good we know both Mysterio and Cesaro to be. So for them to deliver on this kind of match, it felt disappointing. The finish of the match was Mysterio hitting a sunset flip bomb on Cesaro to pick up the win. Now, it appears that WWE is trying to rebrand the AOP, the Authors of Pain. They appeared in a weird vignette speaking in different languages.
Yeah,
saying
they understood each other, even though one was speaking in Albanian and one was speaking in Punjabi, apparently.
They said that the tag team division is weak and not man enough to fight them in the ring, which is bullshit because you guys keep getting hurt. That's why you can't fight them in the ring. And the only thing I have to say is, WWE, please bring Paul Ellering back. Because he somewhat made the AOP relevant. I mean, if the AOP can't cut a promo in English, have someone as experienced as Ellering to put them over. I mean, it worked in NXT, didn't it? Why wouldn't it work on the main roster?
I know it went wrong because of the whole Pissgate issue with Rowe. But even Drake Maverick worked well with them. Why do they need to go single? Because we saw how successful it's been for Viking Raiders. How? We saw how successful it was the first time, and it's like, everybody's just afraid to sort of fight. No, it's because you keep getting bloody injured every time when you try and get a... That's partly your fault for not being able to sort of be fit and ready, and partly WWE's fault because they're probably doing the house shows every bloody night, so they don't get a chance to actually have a rest. You know, it's like we're trying to bring back the tag team division because everybody is just, you know, let's put two people together because that sort of worked. The only time it's worked in the past 5 years is Sheamus Cesaro.
Yeah.
Because it actually, you know, and that, to be honest, when it got put together, it seemed like shit. And then it sort of gelled and worked. It gelled and worked because they actually gave it a chance. We all know that at some point within the next, before Saudi, Roode and Ziggler are going to have those belts off, so they're not going to be given the chance to sort of do anything with it. So it's like you've got this whole pool of talent, and it's just anywhere and everywhere.
Well, you mentioned something about WWE taking two talents, and if we give them enough time, they would end up gelling. And we could say that right now about the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions in Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, as they took on the former Women's Tag Team Champions in Bayley and Sasha Banks. Now, for the opening minutes of the match... Go ahead.
Partly I want to say no. Partly I want to say no to that. Because remember, for those 3 or 4 weeks, they were sort of contemplating having Nikki sort of turn, or sorry, Bliss turn on Nikki, and vice versa in those first few weeks. They dropped, but at any point, I could just see them just hitting the reset button and going, yeah, you know, turn heel on her because we need you in single. It's like, that's the problem, that the chemistry just seems to be... Bliss is sort of being very sort of hands-offish when Nikki's being herself, when we sort of see the backstage WWE, you know, YouTube or social media exclusive bit. That's something which, you know, considering that there's a, you know, the one tag team that had it, the Iconics, haven't had it in weeks. And
where have they been on TV? They haven't been on TV. That's another thing, though. They haven't been on TV in the longest time, too, unless they've been on Main Event.
Main Event. I think they've had at least one Main Event match, I think. The big thing as well is the other tag teams that they'd introduced as part of the women's thing were what? Riot Squad, that now no longer exist.
Fire and Desire.
Fire and Desire. Yeah, Fire and Desire that have underlived. And the Kabuki Warriors that have disappeared off the face of the earth.
Well, Asuka's going to do it on YouTube gaming channel now, for one.
Yes, but this...
I don't know what they're doing with Kairi Sane.
At the rate we're going, at the minute, that is a one-team division until the Iconics show up again.
Yeah.
So...
Well, as for this match on Monday Night Raw, with Banks and Bayley taking on Bliss and Cross, for the opening minutes of the match, it was pretty much Alexa and Nikki in control, taking it to the former champs, until Alexa went for a somersault senton off the ring apron onto both Bayley and Banks and tweaked her knee and got up noticeably limping. Then later on in the match, Bliss would get sent into the ring steps and hurt her knee, which forced her to go back to the back for medical attention, essentially turning this match into a handicap match. Cross nearly pulled it off the impossible after hitting her slingshot neckbreaker on Bayley, but Banks would break up the pin. The finish of the match was Banks locking on the Banks statement on Cross to pick up the win, and then after the match, Banks, I hope I'm saying that correctly, would, because I know last night on the Clash review, I kind of said slash. Banks would grab a steel chair, but before she could do any damage, out would come Becky Lynch with a chair in hand and would duel it out with Banks until Bayley came into the ring with a steel chair of her own. And to even things out, here would come Charlotte Flair, as bouncy as ever, and would take out Bayley with a big boot or heel shoe, as it were. Later on in the evening, Sasha would challenge Becky to another match at Hell in a Cell, and Becky would respond by saying she wants to face her inside Hell in a Cell. So essentially the way WWE has booked this, Ashley, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're letting their power couple, their over-publicized couple, which makes me want to vomit in a couple, have their matches inside Hell in a Cell. Is there anything about that statement that I didn't get right?
What was it? Becky said, I'm not gonna face you at Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna destroy you inside Hell in. No, she said inside in my set or something like.
No, face her, destroy her inside Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, inside, but it was Hell in or something. She mispronounced it.
I would have to go back and look, to be honest.
Hell him.
Like I said, I would have to go back and look.
Let's go back to the tape. Please tell me YouTube has it on the bloody stuff.
Well, while Ashley looks that up, the next segment, it was Glen Jacobs would arrive in a limo with the 24/7 championship in hand. R-Truth was waiting for him on top of the limo, came up from behind him, rolled him up for a pin, and won back the 24/7 championship. I don't know why either. Other than the fact that they were in Knoxville. So maybe they did it because Glen Jacobs is the mayor of Knoxville, and I guess to give him TV time, I suppose. I don't know. Help me here, Ash.
Alright, I'm just looking. There is no footage of the whole Hell in a Cell thing because Beckett wrong, so... Still looking forward to the match.
Me too.
Also, Charlotte stepping with those high heels is like... It was like, you ready to do the spot? And it's, oh shit. And then she's like ding! It was like as if she was creeping up because she didn't want to lose balance to screw up the spot. And then
she basically didn't want to pull a Brooke Hogan. That's what you're saying.
She didn't want to fall down on her heel. However, that.
Yep.
I lose track of this shit.
Well, speaking of reasons to say I don't know, the next match was Lacey Evans taking on Dana Brooke. Apparently, this was a rivalry that was developing on WWE Main Event, but who watches Main Event? I don't watch Main Event, and I like to watch wrestling, which gives me something to talk about on this podcast.
It was...
I don't even know when to watch Main Event.
Well, when it gets put up on the network.
Which is when?
Hang on. Let me go to the network and check when it was. I think they up because it's not broadcast on TV, at least in America. They normally put it up. Recently added main event August 29th, 2019. Oh no, it is still. So it might be a 2-week delay there. Maybe.
Well, it wouldn't make sense if they're in the middle of their transitioning to the Fox network and everything like that. It would make sense that they would have a delay on that.
It used to be on a 2-week delay because You know, I see NXT UK and NXT from September 11, and then September 13 was when This Week in WWE went up.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes up basically a night after it airs. So I guess there is that Hulu or whatever it is, sort of 2-week exclusivity window by the look of it. But you know, she's been on that for a few weeks. I think she was facing her because Dana Brooke's also been in a Part 74 feud with Sarah Logan, seemingly. So who knows? Just trying to see what the... Jeez.
Also, WWE...
Hate tonight.
Go ahead.
Hate tonight we had Lucha House Party beating EC3 and Eric Young. And No Way Jose beating Mojo.
Oh. Oh, man.
It's also worth noting that that main event show is about 5 minutes. 2 matches go maybe 15. And the other half is just filler. Basically the same content that's in the This Week in WWE. It's just that there's 2 because lol. Maybe.
Well, WWE also seems to be pushing the angle with Lacey and Natalya for some odd reason, because the finish of the match was Lacey first hitting the woman's right on Dana, and then locking on the sharpshooter, forcing Dana to tap out. And again, I ask, why should I care about this angle?
The crowd clearly didn't.
Neither did I.
Which doesn't help. Doesn't help with the issue of... Yeah, but the crowd in the arena to be invested, and they weren't.
No, they
You know, because normally in some cases, even if it isn't over with the home audience, you know, watching their V's of tea, it still gets conveyed over by the crowd popping for it or whatever. Non-existent in this one. So,
and something we've said
Column
many
not
times here on the show, it doesn't matter if you get a positive or a negative reaction, you're getting a reaction. The worst thing that can happen to you in the wrestling industry is for you to get no reaction. And that's pretty much sums up about 90% of the show, but we'll talk about that on the overall score and thoughts portion of the podcast. Up next, it was the main event, as Seth Rollins took on Robert Roode, who had Dolph Ziggler in his corner. And let's get straight to the point about this match. This was your basic babyface champion versus heel tag team champion with his partner at ringside. Rollins would have the advantage for a short period of time, but as soon as that would happen, Ziggler would attack behind the referee's back to help give the advantage to his partner Roode. However, it wasn't enough, as Rollins was able to connect with the stomp to Roode, but before he could go for the pin, Ziggler attacked, causing a disqualification, and out would come the OC to essentially make it a 5-on-1 situation. And initially, our first thought, or my first thought, was, okay, they're going to make this whole angle with the Fiend and Rollins weird by having the Fiend coming out to make the save. However, that was not to be, because if you remember, we're in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Weird. It got weirder.
Yes, because out would come the Demon Kane. And again, think about it. We're in Knoxville. And he would come out to make the save. And just before Kane was about to do his signature, I'm not saying the V word because Michael Cole raped that word. His signature, lighting the post on fire bit with his arms, you know, go up and down. The lights would go out, and then the Fiend made his presence known, attacked Kane with the mandible claw, and then just stared at Rollins, who was laying helpless in the corner. I don't know. The match, it's in it of itself, I don't know, just kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth, Ash. I think the only thing that made it relevant or a good way to close out the show would be the post-match activities. Not per se of having the nostalgia factor of Kane there, but them actually continuing the angle with the Fiend and Seth Rollins.
Yeah. But it sort of also repeats with the whole The Fiend never forget, because of the whole Kane Bray Wyatt feud that happened back in the day. So that does make sense. The only problem was the whole ending. Don't get me wrong, I think it's great, the image of him sort of laughing at him in the corner, just there, scared. And then it cuts to the Firefly Funhouse graphics going weird and distorted and upside down. I have no problem with that. It's just the weird, distorted stuff went for basically a minute. All you needed it to do, really, was maybe go 20 to 30 seconds. But because timing on this show is clearly still screwed up, they had to leave it for way too long.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, okay, we get it. We get it. You can cut this off. You can have a commercial for something else before you go to straight up Steve Ross. Just do something. And no.
Yeah, you get no argument from me.
They either rush these shows at the end because they run out of time, so it feels like it's thunder, or they drag out the end because they're trying to fill the time to get up to that deadline when they've got to be off the air with the Impact thing.
Mm-hmm.
If that had have ended sort of right when the sort of verse of the bit that you don't hear with the song, when it went distorted,
it would have made sense.
Would have been great.
Exactly.
Because it dragged on sort of that bit longer, it was just like, we get it. It's the only thing that soured that whole out. I still liked it, but it's just like, it's the timing issue.
I mean, because there's to the point where, we get it. This part makes sense. But then you get to the point where, all right, now you're just flat out insulting our intelligence. That's with the upside down Kevin, the upside down Paul, and the upside down Vince. So, let's go to overall score and thoughts. I really don't know what to think about the show tonight. Was Kevin Dunn drunk? Was Paul Heyman off his medication? I mean, what the hell was this show? For about 90% of this show, the crowd was dead. A lot of the matches really didn't make any sense whatsoever, and a bizarro twist, I actually liked the match with Baron Corbin in it tonight. That's why tonight's Raw is getting a 2 out of 5, and that's being very, very generous. With best match of the night going to Chad Gable and Baron Corbin, with worst segment of the night first going to the mouth of Corey Graves.
It doesn't seem to me like Maria's the problem here. The fact that Mike Kanellis is a clear beta cup is the problem.
Yeah. Again, he said that on national TV. And whoever came up with the Mike Kanellis beta cut angle, you deserve to be slapped in the face with a fish and kicked in your vagina. Ashley, over to you. Overall score and thoughts?
I'm gonna say 2.5. As much as it's like, no, I can't say 2.5, because that'd put it on the same par as last show, which was an average but decent show for a goer. So it sort of has to be sort of equivalent of like 1.5. Not a 0, but it's just enough stupid shit, We waste the Street Profits angle last night on the bloody pay-per-view was better than them being part of the gender reveal. And that stupid, weird sort of like, Maury, you are not the father. Bull crap.
Let me say this. If Maria Kanellis is actually pregnant, then women find me sexually attractive.
Wow.
That's how much believability I have about this pregnancy angle. None. Anything else to add, Ash?
You know, yeah, so, you know, most of it was sort of like poor. The whole stuff with the Seth and Fiend stuff and the Kane interaction was really good. The Mysterio Cesaro match, although it had no purpose, was still a match that the King of the Ring final was really good. Other than that,
Well, anyway, guys and gals, that's been our thoughts on Monday Night Raw tonight. What we want to know from you guys out there, yes, you guys, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw. What are your overall scores? What are your thoughts on Monday Night Raw? What are your picks for best match of the night? What was the worst match of the night? Do you agree with anything we had to say tonight? We definitely want to hear what you guys out there have to say. And on next week's Monday Night Raw review, we'll read any comments you guys put on this video right here on WrestleDOWN. So be sure you put your comments in the comment section below with the Upside Down Corey. If you guys like this video, be sure you slam that like button like a champ. And if you guys, with the Upside Down Paul, want to see more of WrestleDOWN right here on the channel, you know the two ways you gotta do it. To the Upside Down Kevin, you gotta like, drop the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications. So that way the Upside Down Vince will never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So with that being said, for the Studley Man Ashley and the Upside Down, I can't tell what that says, with the Upside Down 1119. Which is, I wish something
the Fiend never forget.
I wish we could tonight. So again, for the Studley Man Ashley, I am your friendly neighborhood Wilson Gamer, saying, just stay awesome, guys. Bye! Relic is killer stealth.